Vietnam War, how that was being handled, and not, they called it a military action instead of a war.
Was that something you talked openly about?
Yeah, yeah. And he stopped recruiting for the Marines because of Vietnam.
Wow.
And he then became an English teacher instead. And so when Anne moved up to Vancouver from Seattle, where we lived, hitchhiking with a backpack and a guitar, basically, in the day when you could trust an unknown driver, maybe, he was okay with it. He said, you tell that young man that I wouldn't fight that dirty war either. And,
oh, I see.
So he agreed with, being basically he was a conscientious objector about the way that war was being handled. War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little unclear. There was the band Hocus Pocus, or it was White Heart.
Yeah,
so she's kind of...
After the Viewpoints and Rapunzel,
Yeah.
then Anne launched into garages that had drums and amps and stuff before I could go play those clubs with her.
Yeah.
So she had A Boy and His Dog, she had Daybreak, she had the one you just said.
There was Hocus Pocus,
Hocus Pocus,
White Heart.
and White Heart, which then became Heart.
Yeah.
About the same minute that I joined Heart.
Okay, I gotta stop here. This is, to me, one of the funniest stories of your life. So they weren't sure about you joining, so they made you learn the Yes song, The Clap.
Yeah.
Which you got to be a Yes fan to know what that is. But when I read that, I thought, this is so crazy.
You know that song.
Of course, yeah. This is kind of Steve Howe's kind of show-offy.
It's a real show-offy
acoustic piece.
ragtime,
I actually saw Steve Howe play the clap with Asia in 1981.
You did?
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
And of course, the crowd went crazy, because
Of course they
he's
did.
playing the clap.
I could still play most of the clap, but
It's why I reach for a guitar.
yeah, like here
you go.
Well, I need a little practice, a little warm up first, but
that's I could never play. I could never play that. That's a pretty impressive thing to sort of show up and play.
Thanks. Well, I already was really proficient, because guys like Paul Simon, all that great finger style.
Yeah, you learned all those.
I learned all that stuff off the bat.
Yeah,
because that was
country blues too, or just more the folky.
All
version?
of the above.
Wow.
All country music. Pretty much everything except jazz, I guess.
Yeah.
Because jazz is more like a reading music type of playing.
But did you see them kind of? Okay, jump over this wall. Let's see if you can jump.
Yeah.
Was it because you were the sister, or is it because you were female, or all of the above, or were they just like you're an outsider? What was the?
I think it was because I was the little sister, and the nepotistic aspect of just because she's your sister doesn't mean she's good enough to go play cabarets in Vancouver with us, the #1 cabaret band in Vancouver. That just changed our name to Heart.
They were good musicians. I will.
They were really good.
Say that. I mean, they come off. There's a serious vibe to their thing.
They were seriously good club band, really good.
But back then you had to be. My father was a club musician too. You probably don't know
really
that.
Yeah.
So I grew up in that world where it's like you had to be able to play.
And you played long sets. You played like almost an hour, a break, almost another hour, another break, almost another hour, a break, and then the last short set.
Yeah, my dad used to say
and then kick all the drunk people out.
45-minute sets is what he would do.
5 45-minute sets.
Yeah.
That's what I.
Yeah. So imagine, but
that was my initiation.
The upside is when these bands like your band broke into the world, they know how to play.
Yeah, what's up, Fishman?
Right. It's the experience it's the live experience that I think a lot of people are missing out now. I mean, one of the reasons in our social media, infused world right now is people don't have that experience. That record companies used to help.
Yeah, the internet just went out, so here I am again.
I'll pay
Got
for
some
rent
waffles
to go
here.
on the road and learn
Just
your
'cause.
craft. We'll subsidize you to go learn the live craft of playing live music. and sounding as cool as your recording sounded.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I have a management company now helping young artists do that.
Yeah.
But
Okay, that's interesting.
it's another
Do
conversation.
you want to talk about that at all?
Well, I will. I mean, happily.
I don't mind derailing you for a second.
Okay, let me be derailed.
Yeah, please.
Let me derail myself. I have a little company called Roadcase Productions,
Okay.
or Roadcase Management, and we've got a graphic artist named Sketchy Goat. She's from Texas, but she does a lot of the Seattle musicians like Jerry Cantrell, and she does Weird Al, and she does Nancy Wilson, and she's done a heart T-shirt for us. And you, obviously, worked with Sketchy Goat.
Did I?
You did.
I don't remember that.
She made you some, I think it was really cool posters and stuff. But She worked with you.
Okay. I don't know the
But
Sketchy
anyway,
Goat
now
name
she
off
has
the top of my head.
management, and
Okay.
yeah, so that's part of that. And then, but for the music side right now, I have Deloitte LZ, who's got an album, Rite of Passage, that's amazing. It's digital twang. It's very country, very Americana with digital interference, sort of cool stuff. And another developing girl who's an amazing singer-songwriter too, Madison XOXO.
Okay.
And I'm trying to help get her out on the road and get her album out soon. But Deloitte LZ just got signed with Concord Records.
Oh, wow.
And he's touring now too.
Wow.
So
are you taking more of a development position, helping and seeding?
Helping develop young, talented singer-songwriters.
Wow, okay.
And a graphic artist.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, so I got to derail myself and do, shameless promotion.
But it dovetails into, because this is the point in your life where it's like, here comes the management, the record label,
giving
it's that moment.
Something back to like the great spirit of art,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that's been my
Well, we both know that record companies don't do A&R anymore. There's no
That's kind
no
of
talent development. I
that's
mean, you
the
hinted
reason.
at it, but I'm talking about the actual reality. They don't even have a department. There's nobody. They
There's
just
no artist relation department. Yeah, A&R.
it's strictly you have to figure out how to get yourself over on social media. If you get enough numbers, they might sign you.
Yeah, and radio's not helping. I mean, programming.
Well,
I mean,
TikTok probably right now is probably
TikTok
the
is
greatest driver for young people to find
Exactly
music.
that. Exactly.
But
right.
Jimmy Chamberlain from the Pumpkins was telling me recently that they did a study and found that there's actually not a ton of conversion from people liking stuff on TikTok to actually going and listening to it on a streaming platform.
Right? Yeah.
So they'll
When I go through my Instagram, I'll
Unless it's like Deftones or
But
down.
isn't it interesting that if TikTok is the greatest sort of marketing tool for young artists to reach people, there isn't necessarily
Totally.
conversion to get those people to go listen to those people on streaming services. They'll
Oh,
listen
yeah,
to
for
them on
young
TikTok.
artists, yes, definitely different.
So they'll just watch what they like on TikTok some more.
It become and
Instead of like I want to see them live, or I want to go.
I don't remember this
get-
artist's name, but I heard this thing the other day where an artist will put up a 30-second clip of a song. He'll only record 30 seconds of a song, and if people like it and he gets enough traction, he'll go and record the song.
Wow.
Yeah, that blew my mind.
Attention span theater.
I don't know, but that
Right.
blew my mind because it's unfathomable to me, at least in the world we grew up in, that you would ask the audience to tell you who to be. Of course, the artist would say, "Well, I'm being who I want." No, you're asking the audience to tell you which
Yeah.
version of yourself to be.
That's right. That's what that is.
That's kind of weird
It's
because
like here's a color swatch. What color do you want?
Yeah.
This room to paint your room. You know.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
So,
wild. That's really wild. I've never heard that.
Yeah, Mike Flicker, Mushroom Records, kind of take me through that.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, I saw this and tell me if this is true. So were they in the paint business or something?
Right.
Somebody was in the paint business and they
right.
had a little label in a
They
studio.
had a little studio down by the river.
Exactly. Down by the
Sounds like
river.
a song.
Yeah.
It is one. But down by the river in Vancouver, that a paint company family had as kind of like a vanity side project thing, like, we could make we could, record some local artists and make singles and stamp out some, vinyls and see what happens.
Yeah.
And so they were making, Mike Flicker at the time with Howard Leese were little production team there making switched on Bach records and stuff like that. So electronic, musical, instrumental stuff like that. Switched on Beatles, you know, which was a big rage at the minute.
Yeah, I have all those records, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
You have them on vinyl?
I love all that stuff.
All the vinyl stuff.
I don't know. There's that moment where because of the success of Wendy Carlos, there's all those weird like.
Do you have Edgar Varese?
I don't know who that is.
The electronique, strange.
Are you talking about
electronic?
Is it Varese or
yes.
Okay, so I don't know how to say the name, but yeah.
I don't. Varese.
Wasn't Zappa obsessed with him?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
He would write like two symphonies and have two orchestras play them at the same time, and
yeah, and all the experimental electronic stuff.
Yeah, but I love the conversion of classical to electronica.
Me too.
And even like synthesizer Beatle records, where like they take like Eleanor Rigby and do like.
That's what Mike Flicker and Howard Leese were.
Okay, so they were doing all that.
That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were
and here come you lasses.
And here comes Heart, now called Heart, into the club scene there at the what was it called, the Aquarius Room or something, at the forget the name, the big show place cabaret that had the small room downstairs and the other room over there, and the big showroom upstairs where all of the review type bands and all the African American review with horn part bands would come out.
Okay.
Big touring bands.
Yeah.
And Hart got gigs at Oil Can Harry's, what it's called, and so one of my first gigs was playing at Oil Can Harry's with Hart, and I'd only been in coffee shops, like one little acoustic chick, with like doing, I don't know, Jethro Tull and, that stuff.
What Jethro Tull song were you playing?
I did Locomotive Breath.
Okay.
I love that song.
It's a good song.
It's a really good song. I didn't do Aqualung though. It's a little graphic for me, but anyway. So it was the Trial by Fire, and Mike Flicker happened to come and see Hart play at Oil Can Harry's.
And that was it.
And heard Ann's voice, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I was joining soon thereafter, after I did my stint in the university, just for my own, edification. And so when I joined, he was like, I think just the Ann version of this band is better than the Two Chick version of this band, and so let's have some opinions about how they sound together. And so my addition into the band was really heavily scrutinized, and I had to kind of put the gloves on a little bit.
That's so crazy to me.
I'm good enough for this.
And you would have been how old at this time? Like 19 or something?
19.
Right? Yeah. That's crazy to me.
But I was good, and I could Ann used to call it like, do the cow show, like at a county fair.
Yeah.
Like the cow that could dance, like. So I'd play Angie by Paul Simon, like some really complicated.
Oh, I see. Kind of prove
my guitar prowess.
But is it
and harmony singing and stuff?
But I mean, to me, that's just so crazy that you would want a sibling out of a group, especially when you talk about singing.
Oh, I know. Well, I had to just prove it real hard.
Yeah.
And
but did Ann stick up for you, or what was her position? Is she kind of in the?
She really stuck up for me. Which once in a while she will do, and not as often as I would like. But she said, "No, I'm not going to do this without my sister," which was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah. And so I was in. What was come hell or high water, and it all came.
I went back and listened to the early records, because I think it helps sometimes, because you, as a fan, you think you know what the records sound like, or because of the hits. But I actually went back and listened.
I do know what you mean.
But then when you go back and you listen, I go, I didn't remember some of this folky stuff you guys were doing.
Totally.
There was like more prog elements in there.
There were some prog moments, and there was almost like a Carpenters song.
I'm so
on
glad
there.
you said that because I didn't know if he would, because
What was it called? Love Me Like Music.
yeah.
It's
So
very
there is a kind of a
Carpenter.
Carpenter's-esque quality to your sister's voice, and I actually heard it listening to that record, especially the first one, and I
right.
thought, wow, they're weird. They're like, there's like part Carpenter, part Led Zeppelin. It's kind of a weird.
And a little bit of Elton John.
Okay,
Like when she
okay.
goes, waddle, lightning, and wow. She got the Elton John accent for a second. A little Karen Carpenter over here.
Welcome back,
A
Anthony.
lot of Robert Plant everywhere else.
Yeah.
But she really, but still sounds like herself because
Made a waffle.
that's what great
The internet
singers-
went out.
It's crazy.
you can always, identify a
As
voice.
soon as she opens her mouth,
Waffle
it's like,
pills.
Like a Chris
There it
Cornell.
is.
And your voice too.
Oh,
I mean,
God bless
it's
you.
No
very
bowl because
identifiable as
I don't know
you.
why.
Only you.
Just kinda
have your
reach for a
sound,
bowl, grab the bowl.
which is really cool.
yeah,
Tap shit.
it's a weird, speaking personally, it's a
Yeah.
weird thing because I wanted to sing like other people. You know what I mean? I just didn't have
Right,
the
me
ability.
too. I've never been a born singer,
Yeah.
so I'm really put here for guitar playing mainly, I guess. But I love singing and I love harmony
Yeah.
singing, and so, lead singing is a challenge, but I enjoy the effort, that
Yeah.
it takes to do it.
But just take us into the kind of like, did you guys sit around and talk about this is what we want to sound like, or did it just kind of happen through work? Was there an intellectual overlay on that, or was just the musical output? It's a weird to me
Yeah.
as a music fan, and again I'm a fan, so. But it's a
Yeah.
weird stew of influences, and I even found this weird clip of you guys. It must have been right around the first album, but you're playing. I don't want to say it's cable access, but it kind of feels like a local TV show.
That was in Spokane, Washington.
Okay, right. And at some
Yep.
point you even say, we're from around here. And
Yeah.
you open with some kind of weird prog intro with synthesizers and Anne's playing the flute.
Yeah.
I remember she
It was-
kind of remembered, like, she's playing like Jethro Tull flute solos. And I was like, wow, this
Totally.
is really out there.
Exactly as you described
Okay.
it.
Your city, really?
It's
Oh,
every
shit.
influential element that were put together in the rich protein stew
Yes,
called
yes.
heart.
Yeah.
Starting out.
Yeah.
And that we had a reel-to-reel
Shout out Washington.
tape recorder that we
Spokane
would
build.
push play at the beginning of all of our cabaret shows. And that show that you saw from Spokane, the university there, and it was like a public access
Yeah.
thing and it was called Main Stage, and it was an edited together little introduction, the sound of a rocket launch, a countdown
Yeah.
to a rocket launch, and then the band starts.
Yeah.
So and then the flute part comes in, and it's this big long, like in the 70s.
Yeah.
In the middle to late 70s, there was such an epic thing going on with
Yeah.
Zeppelin and and Rush and songs that would go on to all these departures.
Well, Chicago, we had Styx was doing stuff like that
Styx
too.
would do that,
Yeah.
of course. It would be the epic.
Boston, these kind of.
Boston would go off of departures, the Baroque departures, and the long solo over here, and then back to the other part. And so songs could go for, Mr. All Wind was one of those songs that Hart did, which is still my favorite song, maybe,
I have to
but
go listen to that.
it's like 7 minutes, But it's a big journey that you go
Yeah.
through, and
Seattle,
it
Washington.
was
Nice.
the times where you would,
Yeah, she mentioned something about
really just
moving around a
kind
lot,
of
so
tributing
though
everybody
even
that
though
you
Google
love.
says
Yeah.
born
Trying to
in
write new stuff.
San
Yeah.
Francisco,
And I
I'm
think
sure they ended up
just
in
nailed it. You just said
Seattle
it sounds
eventually.
a little bit like Jethro Tull. It sounds a little bit like
Yeah.
Elton over here, the accent over here, the Zeppelin-ish thing there. But it was
second
not,
biggest city in the
it
state.
was
Yeah,
not
yeah.
an-
Makes sense. You would go there and tour, or
It was not constructed that way.
sounds like
on
they were
purpose.
playing a show, go to the
Like
second
the
biggest
thought-
city,
asking, yeah,
play
just
a
kinda-
thought
show on their
construct on
programming,
it.
local
Yes.
Pretty
programming.
much off the cuff and
Pretty
on
good
the
deal.
spot
Yeah.
as it happened.
Second number one.
I know you said you kind of had a fight for your spot, but like what in the early stage? Because I think this has a lot to do with what follows. Like, what was the balance of power in the group? Like, who's making the decisions? Was it a democracy? Like, how did that
that's
work?
That's a tough question.
I wonder
because
how
it's
it was
always
during
been-
those times, because I'm sure it was still
There's always been a
Libby.
balancing act between we wanted
But
to feel like
probably
a,
not
a
as
family,
degenerated.
a democracy with everyone's vote, And it just sort of never worked very well that way, to be quite honest with you.
I'm laughing because I've lived this movie.
You've seen that movie too. I've seen that movie too. But we still kept, always still now, even now, do try to keep the democratic vibe in the band, though Ann and I equally are partners, half and half partners of the corporation called Heart.
Sure.
You know.
But I always think it's interesting to look at these things because we have the luxury of hindsight of seeing all the success, right?
Yeah.
But in the beginning, you're just basically a club band.
Yeah.
A
touring.
It looks so obvious in hindsight, right? But at the time, there's insecurity. I've got to get my guitar solo in.
And there's egos. Yeah.
Oh, please!
Like turn me up louder.
Yeah. Remember when you'd mix on an analog board, everyone would just keep
pushing themselves
their
up.
faders up to make sure they were going to get hurt.
I've seen that movie a few times over.
So. We don't have to get too into it because it's a somewhat explored history in your life. But you're on this label Mushroom from the Paint People.
Yes.
And then the record comes out, and it happened in '75. But in those days, records didn't sort of like light on fire necessarily right away. It took time.
Yeah, we region by region, it sort of spread out, and we got in a rent-a-car with an agent guy. And went to radio stations, me and Ann, and schmoozed the program director with our cute tops on,
Schmoozed,
kind of flipped up and.
Did you? Sorry, because I was going to get there, but I want to ask because two things. One is, are you having to sort of deal with because in my mind, and this is my memory from the time because I was listening then. You always came across as a credible band. That you're being attractive and female wasn't necessarily a negative, but the band was a band because it was a good music band.
Yes.
So on one hand, you're over here like you're dealing with this kind of, it's still sexist, but it was probably 10 times worse back then. But so you're dealing with like, how do we present ourselves as credible? But we have to get attention. And on the other hand, is the guys in the band, are they almost trying to prove something because they're fronted by two women? Does that make sense, that question?
No, that's a great question. It's very relevant, and it's a tricky eggshell walk to do emotionally when you're friends. And in my case, I was with the guitar player unwisely in the band then. And so, the other guys in the band, we knew their wives and their girlfriends, but we would see them with the groupies and not tell the wives or the girlfriends about the groupies.
To the road,
And so there was a brother sisterhood where, what's happens in the band stays in the band, and we honored and respected their privacy on those issues. And
didn't know she was cool like that.
The girls.
But then the wife is mad at you.
The wife gets mad for not, And so there was all kinds of drama that you can only imagine half of that was always going on. Not to mention the fact that the attention just naturally would fall on me and Ann together as a focus point. So the album cover where it wasn't democratic with the whole band on the front cover, where the guys were on the back cover of Baby Lestrange, and just me and Ann, the big black and white.
Heckin' sexist.
Cover, really pissed them off.
Yeah.
And it was the back of our heads with their hair, and their pictures were inserted on top of the back of our hair. So it's like, so we're just the out of focus guys in the background in your hair. You know? And so that we always had to deal with.
I'm going to ask you something to opine on because it's something I think that's it's something that most people, if they don't play in bands, especially successful bands, wouldn't understand. But I'm curious for your take on it. I found that in a weird kind of way, the public chooses your journey. Once you figure out who you are and what you are, the public kind of chooses your journey. Like in hindsight, because you let's call it Heart 1.0, very credible band.
Yeah.
Really good band. I mean, great drummer, great
Totally.
guitar parts. I mean,
Great
very
players.
credible band. Truly,
Super,
like
super
I say that
players.
without reservation. That's a great band.
Right.
Alice Cooper's original band, great band.
Right.
Like all those guys, great band. But at the end of the day, in hindsight, we can see that in the case of the sisters, it was ultimately going to be about you two,
Right.
right? It's not a slight against the band. It's just the public chooses the story that they want, and it became about you. That's what I remember. It was about you two.
That's right.
It doesn't
No,
mean I
that's-
didn't like the band. I just saw it was about you
Yeah.
in my mind. Maybe it was the album covers, who knows? But it was the same
Yeah.
thing with Alice Cooper, right? You know, at some point it's like, it was about the band. They were a great band. But at some point it becomes about Alice Cooper. And
Right.
50 years later,
It's Alice
literally,
Cooper.
we're still talking about you and your sister.
That's true.
And the public knows your names. And it's no disrespect that they don't necessarily know their names. I might know their names because I'm a nerd, but well, what I'm saying is, but the reason I'm asking this, and this is where I'm asking
That's
for your
another great question.
Thank you. But the reason I'm asking for your insight because it's a particular spot that people like us occasionally find ourselves in, where the band is or your fellow members, they're mad at
Well,
you.
Mr. Fishman,
for what the
he's still
public is
going.
interested in. And you're in this weird position where
Hoping
you're
to
like,
hear back
I
from
kinda get
the
it, but at the
embroidery
same
place
point,
I was
I'm not
working
the one
at,
choosing this narrative. The public is choosing
because
this
they
narrative.
paid pretty well,
yeah,
and they were
you know,
fairly close to
it's
here.
Interesting.
You know, they were telling me they needed work, so.
Well, again, it's a walking
when
on eggshells
embroidery
type of
gets
a
busy, it gets busy, so
democratic
hopefully I'll hear from them
internal,
soon.
struggle that you can have with.
In the meantime, I'm waiting for a small amount of taxes to come in
Well, they're like,
for
they
the
really are a
It
family.
is really a
the-
family, and it's
I
your
think it was like
camaraderie, and it's
2 weeks I worked
your
last
little,
week. I mean, last
you
year.
know, platoon that survived together.
Shit.
And
But yeah, it's gonna be like
but what the
160
public
or something.
perception wants to
It'll be
focus on
nice
is
to
something as simple as you
Pay a few things, pay a
at
few
the
bills.
center of it, or me and my sister at the center
But
of
yeah,
art.
right now I'm waiting on that because that would be a, you know, I
have
didn't
to
exactly
kind
want to go
of
back
relinquish
to
the
embroidery.
idea of complete
I
democracy
thought, you know,
in many ways because you are the
Why not?
songwriter.
And it paid pretty
You
well,
wrote the
so
lyrics, right?
that's top.
Yeah.
You wrote those songs. That was your soul coming through
Mm-hmm.
that speaker that put your own melancholy into the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what me and Ann were the songwriters. And we brought the guys in their jams, cool jams, and made them songwriters with us, but they never wrote the words either, you know what I mean?
Or the melodies, yeah.
Or the melodies and words, or the actual expressiveness that carries the message into the world where it touches people, and the guy and his girl proposes to the lady, you know, he proposes at the prom when he's hearing Dog and Butterfly, for
Yeah.
instance. And so that moment is caught in the music,
Yeah.
into the, you know, the
Why
great
did she not want to say
collective
why?
consciousness of where music actually sits in people's
Libtard
souls.
Nancy Wilson.
And that's me and my
Say it
sister.
ain't so. Maybe that's why her
So,
hair is
Every
purple.
band member. First we
She
had
kinda
the-
does
the
have,
big
like,
mistake of
TDS
being their
face.
girlfriends. And then there was a lot of different lineups after that, you know, after the first lineup.
Yeah.
But this lineup today, for instance, is the best lineup ever. A lot of these Nashville cats and some Seattle guys are in it, and they get it. And you know, they're more like studio guys. They're like having the blast of their.
Yeah, exactly. Never
They have the
listen
most
to what a
fun
musician
big
says.
stages now.
Yeah.
So there's this beautiful freshness and democracy that's totally different from any
Yeah,
other
too many
lineup that ever
libtardy
happened.
musicians out there.
But still, the focus remains on at the center when people say,
As Frank
"Oh,
Zappa
when you
said,
sing
shut up and play your
together."
guitar.
When the sisters sing together, there's this thing that happens. And
Well, if
we
it's-
can't avoid that or try to pretend
Yeah.
it's just a democracy, you know.
Yeah. If you think
either.
about it, because you and your sister singing together, the Beach Boys,
Yeah,
Everly Brothers, Bee Gees.
blood harmony.
That's what I was after. Yeah. There's something magical about when siblings can put their voices together. It's a
really-
God-given kind of spookiness.
It is kind of spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people go, when a I talk on the phone, people say, God, you sound exactly like your sister when you speak. And I go, I just wish I sounded like her when I sang too, because, you know, she has that one gift, but I guess my gift is the counterpart, you know, it's the accompaniment to
but
hers.
that's the magic, right?
Yeah, that makes magic happen.
Yeah,
for sure.
I found myself in going back listening to the records trying to pick your harmony out because, you know, you tend to focus on the lead singer harmony, but I was trying to pick out what you were doing.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that weird harmonies.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah,
are not
almost Gaelic.
thirds.
A lot of Gaelic harmonies.
A lot of Gaelic.
Yeah.
A lot more of that stuff, for sure.
So you're catching traction, you're opening for Led Zeppelin. I mean, stuff is happening. But you get in this squabble with Mushroom Records because you guys want to get the hell out of there. They're just this little label.
Well, our album called Magazine that we were planning to do,
they just threw the tapes out, basically, right?
They got some lives. They just decided to release it before it was ready, against our will.
Oh,
and
shit.
People wonder why record companies get a bad reputation.
So they put a live version of "I Got the Music in Me," you know,
what a weird one that
Kiki
is.
D song, and Mother Earth Blues, I guess it was, and I played blues harp solo, and it was. We didn't want to release those songs.
Yeah.
Those were club songs.
Yeah.
We wanted to be doing a concept album, and it was going to be a gatefold, and it was going to be like a fashion magazine with stories and pictures and glam and, you know, stories we would write. And we had a bunch of the songs written already, but it wasn't finished.
Yeah.
But they just wanted to push that out there and get the, you know, they were just being crass, you know, suits.
Yeah.
And
Does he ever,
so we took
ever get in an argument? I don't think I've seen that happen.
Mike Flicker was the key man clause.
There are some I haven't seen just because, you know,
compromise was that we
it's
had
like
to
a
release
chef
it,
or a
finish
skier or
the album,
something.
Officially, yeah.
officially release it with the existing cover and the artwork that existed with
But yeah, he doesn't seem like the combative type.
leave the track list, but finish
So he'll
recording
probably just, like,
anything
move on.
new for in 2 weeks only, and then release it. So the first copy had the stamp on it that was like the first batch of them before there was a disclaimer. Anyway, it's a really boring one.
But I think it's kind of similar to what I'm saying. It's like, even that situation, you're in a cool situation, they give you a little record deal, it takes off, and then they're trying to drag you by the ankles and say, no, you got to stay in this small situation. Even Sam Phillips knew he had to sell Elvis's contract to RCA. I mean, you guys were ready to take off.
Yeah, you would make an interesting
record, which really wasn't a true record,
interviewer.
that thing sold too.
Yeah.
Like, no, hold on. What'd you say?
Was it Epic you went to, right?
Then we went over to Epic, a subsidiary.
Okay, but now you're major label. Here you go.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know how those people think. You walk in those. Okay, but when you walk in those meetings, are they suddenly they're going to make it all?
Yeah,
okay
who knows
sister, like,
how it would be if, like,
what's the stress of that moment?
Billy Howard Stern, some like hillbilly, could be different, but here he's like interviewing one of his heroes, musical heroes,
200 shows
or a fellow legacy American rock musician.
Right.
So yeah, that's the dynamic here. You wouldn't really want to argue with the said person.
From the South and all of them.
Yeah.
And every festival known to man, you know, with everybody in there, and you know,
they're an elder in this case as well.
So there was
even though they don't look at that much.
Situation to get another album finished and written and finished and recorded pretty quickly after we just needed a break from touring for like a 2-year, 2 album, I think it was, a contract where you've got to churn them out, you know, crank them out on a timeline. And so our songwriting got a little more stressy, and so it was harder to get the
kind of just want to let them think what they want. Yeah. It's only hard if they kind of are looking for confrontation from you. Yeah, exactly.
On your timeline as you require them. And so we felt
polity can be pretty mutual, you know, as long as it is mutual, you know.
So we were in a hurry.
And from both
we were being kind of bitchy with our songwriting, and
From both
we were
parties.
riding the hand at fees basically a little bit there. Oh, how punk of us. To, and so we had a couple of turkeys along the way. It didn't really work out until the MTV 80s and the stable of LA songwriter hit.
I can only speak for Chicago because they played all that stuff. So
Yeah.
let's call it Heart 1.0. I mean, that stuff was
Yeah.
on Chicago radio constantly. So I grew up
Yeah.
hearing all that stuff.
And there were some good songs.
They're very good songs, but I'm
definitely.
saying it's like, I say it occasionally on this podcast that it's hard for people to understand in the modern age that rock back then was very regional. So a
Right.
band might be huge in Cleveland and Chicago and Akron, Ohio, but that would be it.
Yeah.
They couldn't get arrested in LA, and there were bands that were huge in LA that couldn't get arrested in Chicago.
Right.
And that's why there's so much touring went on, because you had to kind of build your relationships
Yeah.
and build your audience.
You'd work with the radio guys to play the album,
Yeah.
to play your song before you got to town, before you would
'Cause-
play the
so
song.
you were huge in
to
Chicago.
open
That's
for
all
the
I know.
other- Yeah.
Chicago, you guys were
Chicago was
big
we always,
market.
We always had a great relationship with Chicago and Detroit.
Yeah.
Midwest.
I mean, my memory, and I was, this would have been like I'm 10 years old, but my memory is that for whatever reason, it kind of shocks me because again, there's a lot of acoustic stuff on the records.
Right.
You were really accepted by a rock audience wholeheartedly. And I think it's the way you were positioned on those stations. There were two stations in Chicago, WLUP and WMET. But they played, even though they played like Zeppelin and Sabbath, they would play The Cars and Heart.
Right.
So
exactly.
they told their audience,
We were crossover.
yes,
Yeah.
you belonged in this tradition of rock.
That told the audience
Yeah.
where to place us in
And-
their category.
Yeah, so
Which compartment we belonged in.
but in the Chicago market, you were presented as a credible rock band.
Yeah.
It was less about being good looking or whatever. I don't know how it worked everywhere else, but in Chicago, it always was presented as this is a great band.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's a real rock show. I mean, there still, even to this day, there's not a lot of girls in rock bands, like heavy rock bands. Heart's a heavy rock band.
Yeah.
We do a lot of romantic ballads and moments, and Led Zeppelin Rain Song or Going to California or
Yeah.
whatever, because that's really satisfying stuff to play. But we also we put the hammer down as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
Prime Howard was Kino. He
makes
would troll
us
people
different, I
so
think,
crazy,
a bunch of other
say
bands,
crazy shit,
especially
get them
having
to
women in it.
air out all their
So,
dirty laundry.
I guess
So I think that helped.
The
us
show's
to
known
stay
for
in
that, yeah.
category.
Yeah.
For a while
Because
there,
it's
there was so
not
much
so
hard
It's not so much to
content
make a
on
social
YouTube.
point as much as
Ooh,
it is that you were in a
that
place
was
where there really wasn't a business.
actually,
for
I think
women that fronted
before,
rock bands. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
there were women that fronted rock bands, but
like
you
I
kind of
I
built
went
a
into
different type of business that didn't exist.
the only
before.
plays kick
I think that's right. I think
back in the
that's what
day was
radio
a
really-
Howard kick,
especially in the Midwest starting out.
because there was so
was
much of it
even
on
the
YouTube,
most helpful
especially
for us.
the
Yes.
Serious
Because of those
stuff.
radio stations that
Sirius
helped
XM.
put us in that demographic.
those,
Yeah.
Fucking
along with other
Yeah. Yeah, it's very strong
retarded.
serious rock bands.
Yeah, but I
interns
have
that would
such
do
strong
anything.
memories of having you
some of that
marketed
stuff was Kino.
Yeah.
amongst these greats. It
Yeah.
was
And
now
very
it's all gone.
interesting.
Really cool though. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
really. I have
Yeah,
so
the only
much
bad thing about the
gratitude
XM era
around
was
that.
that Howard wasn't
gratitude
saying
that,
the N word as much.
We were.
He went in the
We didn't just intentionally
public
break
access
some glass
days,
ceiling for women,
which
but
I
we
did
were
see a
just
few
there being
clips here and there.
confident to begin with.
That's kind of my point. It's,
You know,
you
and it-
didn't market it as, hey, we're two hot chicks fronting a band. It's like,
Right.
no, we're a credible
We're
band. This is
confident.
what
Always
we
watch
do.
it back on
We're
VH1.
musical
Nice,
style.
nice.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Don't
part
blow
of
my
why it
fucking mind
resonated
even
with the
back then.
Chicago rock crowd or
Nice.
the Midwest rock crowd because it
Yeah, it's a
wasn't
very,
about anything other than we play great music.
I had
We
that
were just
experience with the movie.
coming through the door
'Cause I
of
couldn't
being good
get that,
musicians first, and
you know,
the
anybody could do
image-making
this,
stuff that started
like
out
have a
with MTV
career.
was after that.
Yeah.
So
Like, I
But we'll
just
get
got
there. That's a whole
Robin.
other-
I
there's
just
a whole there's a
Go to-
story
Yeah,
to tell.
we'll get to
man,
that
I
stuff.
should be able to do a
This is
good
my own note,
Howard,
but I'm going to
but
just tell you what I wrote because it makes me
got a
laugh.
microphone
We're actually born one
and I
day.
got on the radio
I'm March 17th. You're
and I
March
started
16th.
talking to
You're
guys. So I was
St.
saying
Patrick's Day.
Yes.
the N
But
word.
it makes me laugh because
Screamed
I'm also,
the N-word at
I'm
people.
also in the band
Something like that.
Gemini, so it's like When I think of you in a
I have a
band,
bass line in my
Gemini sister,
voice
you
that could be
as a
Howard.
musician,
I
that
think I
makes
might
me
work on that.
Well,
Because you're talking about two twin signs.
It'd be a fun
Anne is
impression to have.
June 19th,
Yeah, fucking Howard, man.
the day after Paul McCartney's birthday.
And the whole cast of
And
characters
she's a
around them.
double Gemini,
Whoosh.
so she's at least 4 people, you know.
Honestly, it's such
one do you
legendary
want?
stuff.
A couple of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
It could almost
I always
be
say with
worth
Geminis,
a Sirius
I
XM
always say with Gemini,
subscription.
person out front
However
that sort of
low
does
they may
about
be now.
95% of the work, and then occasionally the other one shows up, and you're like, "Who are you?"
Exactly.
There's this other person in there. You're like,
really
"I don't
right.
really know you, but
Yeah.
hi, you're here." Yeah.
You're like, where were you?
Yeah.
You know.
The Howard Flow State.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, it has been a while
You
since
can
I've
take this however you want.
been on the
I
Howard
did
train.
See where you were talking about the beautiful cocaine heydays of the 70s, and you talked and your sister talked
Yeah, one
about,
day it
I
was
think she
just,
talking more about alcohol, but you were talking about cocaine.
all the Howard Stern stuff
It's not really a
going.
question. It's just to illustrate that.
You mean the 80s?
Well, but were you partying in the 70s, or is it?
Well, the mind expanded part was the 70s.
Okay.
After the late 60s.
I really liked
that was the
Sal
mind-opening
Governale.
times and the human potential.
Not like that. I thought he was a
mushrooms,
Pot,
etc.
a chump,
and
like a
psychedelics,
sad fool.
LSD.
Okay,
But he
right.
was very funny.
So I saw God a few times.
And
in the late 60s,
the ways that he would
with
embarrass
the right
himself
music
were
on,
pretty
the
funny.
right setting and the right dosage, you know,
Yeah.
and all the things that you never would ever.
When he got hit
ever
with the
folks
paintballs
ever
in
do
the
again
ass by his wife
because it's
for
there's
money
no,
for Disney
you know,
to
there's
take
no
his kids
control over
to Disney.
anything anymore. But
That was pretty funny.
then when cocaine started taking over with MTV and
Cocaine.
Okay, so that's an 80s.
that's an 80s thing.
Okay, so we're at the 80s.
So it's the ego 80s. but-
Sure. What year in your mind, does the, let's call it the original blueprint of the band stop working as effectively, and then you're kind of put in this position? I know you switch record labels, but you're put in this position
Yeah.
now where it's outside writers and
Yeah. Well, the first, it's like 1975, back in the year of our Lord 1975, until about 5 years later when it was turning into 1980. the
so
80s.
somewhere there you start to feel
The 5-year lifespan of
I don't think I've seen the IQ test.
Like they say.
Oh,
every
wait,
rock
no,
band
I
has
know
a
what you're talking
5-year
about now, yeah.
lifespan.
I go 7, but it's
That was a
very-
Seven.
pretty,
Yeah.
pretty grim.
there for
But
me.
you
But
remember with 5, it
Just
was
to
like
see
you
the-
too, it was like everybody was
sadness
cool
on his
for about
face.
5 or 7 years,
And I've been there.
and then not.
A similar
And
situation.
then you have to kind of prove it all over
gotta be
again.
cool
That was an
Gotta
IQ
get
test.
cool
Yeah.
somehow again.
But
Am I
yeah.
cool yet? You know.
But what's
One
what's
time
the
me and,
year they
some
sit you
friends
down
were-
and say, by the way,
Or
you've got
smoking weed.
come at this.
And we
That's
were
about
with this one guy who was kind of
1970,
a
I mean, 84.
kind of
Okay.
3, 4.
rambunctious, I
Because
guess you would call him.
We'd done the.
He was like, "Hey, let's all
Audition album
arm wrestle."
Early 80s, which was a turkey.
And so we did.
Had some good songs, but it was a turkey.
And the old
So
Pomad
then
came
we
dead
had
last,
we
lost to
ran
everybody.
Out of our contract and
And I was so bummed.
management and
Just sitting on the
everything,
couch like, oh,
record label and everything kind of dropped
couldn't even
off.
beat,
So to get
beat
back in
a
the
stoned
game,
person.
around mid 80s.
Couldn't even beat a very good friend of mine that was
Took on
there
outside
with me that I
songwriters,
thought,
we put on
yeah, I could might as well beat
the
this
corsets,
friend of
did the
mine, but no,
video,
that motherfucker
the big hair, and
strong.
you know, and
It is what
there's
it
some
is.
really great songs out of
Teenage
Yeah,
Pomad
that.
being
I mean, that we still love to
being
do.
mogged
But the artifice part of it, just living behind the imaging making.
But yeah, I was right there with Sal
was really
Governale.
not our natural state of being. You know,
It's-
it's just,
it strikes me
we
as
were just
odd.
like little barefoot flower children from Seattle,
Yeah.
basically, and tomboys. You know,
So, because it strikes me as odd, because again, I was listening. Let's call it
Beast
Heart
at
1.0,
arm
so
wrestling,
when
yeah, I could
the
only
Son of Heart
imagine.
shows up. It's like, well, it's not that it's bad. It's just not the heart that I know.
Ripping off people's arms from the socket.
Kind of felt like when in Rome.
Be my
we put
brother
on
and
the
he's a
coat,
beast.
you know,
Yeah. Oh, I
like
see.
the whole
Also,
culture
my
had
sister's
moved
boyfriend,
Did you?
into
who was
this
also
internally-
bodybuilding at the time. Damn.
It's kind of a two. Please, I don't want to cut you
What
off.
was one word I was trying
Got
to
that
come up with?
autistic
It was,
strength, possibly.
It was when you go.
Chud
It was
strength
a costume party.
coming in nicely, tubes.
But internally,
Chud, chud, chud.
and because you're siblings, I think it seems to be more intense in my mind. But you tell me. No, what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
you're sitting there. This is my fantasy scenario. You take it from here. you're sitting there and like, okay, they want us to do this. They're putting pressure on us, and we can take this lane or we can keep doing what we're doing. What is because to me, knowing how important music is to you and your sister and your family, and that you had won by being an integral artist, it's a weird thing to sort of flip the switch down the road, some
friend
8 to 10 years
Kyle
later,
took
like,
him out one night.
now
We were
we're gonna
drinking.
become more of a commercial entity.
Try to hit me
sort
with
of
a
subsume
cheap
ourselves
start.
in this greater force. And the thing
It
that really
stopped
jumped
him
out
right
at
at the
me
end.
as a
Reversed it
fellow
easily,
songwriter is
smashed him.
5 hits on
He
the
was
big record,
tashed,
the
harshed.
Heart, I think it's just self-titled Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
five
that's
singles
a
on the record,
brutal
you guys-
loss.
You and your
Yeah.
sister didn't write one of those songs.
That's right.
Did that do something to you,
understand.
or you were cool with it?
It did
Yes.
something to us.
Either way, it is good
as
to know.
Songwriters,
One strength,
we had,
yeah.
like artistic integrity.
Just a simple
our
test of strength
precious artistic
can be very
integrity was
illuminating.
really
It's like, damn, I gotta
poked at by that,
do some push-ups or some curls.
Because we've been such a hardworking touring company, such a touring act. We just didn't have. We felt like we'd been.
Yeah, he came in cheating.
Kind of shoved into
quote unquote
a
cheating.
conveyor
So
belt, kind of
he was really going for that win.
a
He
conveyor
would do
belt
anything.
of hit-making machinery where we didn't have time to really search our own souls and get our next better songs.
Yes,
or whatever
Anthol,
we
you
had
are
to-
indeed
because we were so busy
motherfucking nuts.
churning out the hits
And that's why we love you.
that other people had written, and
So,
the money was bigger than ever, and it was bigger than the first big success we ever had.
I mean, when it hit, you guys were massive.
It was massive in the 80s, and sorry, I'm fiddling with the soundman's life.
He'll come out here with a stick if you.
Don't touch your top. But it was kind of like a real devil's bargain. I mean, in
But
the
did you
classical
feel that at the time?
Totally. Yeah, I think Anne in particular, I guess one of the more perfect examples is the song, All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You, a Mutt Lange song that was our biggest ever massive smash global hit around the world. And it's a great song. It sounds really cool. It's a really great track, and I love the track. The hook is there. Like the production just kicks. It sounds great on the radio, and you just want to roll down your window, and chew gum or something, when you hear that on a summer day, But Anne had to sing the lyrics, right? And her own artistic integrity was pushed to its limit, where she had to tell this story song that felt more like a country western story song.
Sure.
About this rainy night, where we changed the gender on the song.
Yeah.
And they banned us in Ireland, consequently, which was we were kind of proud of that, actually.
Yeah.
But so it just wasn't a fit,
Yeah.
personal trainer, Anthol Arc.
commercialism, the corporateness of it all.
Yeah.
Was just
You could come into
I don't mean this as a
to my house
joke
like
or a
Piccolo,
pun, but
just start
the
throwing me
phrase
against
that
the
comes
walls
to
and
mind
shit,
is that, like,
beating
did
me
it
up.
break your heart? I mean,
It did, though.
To
It was kind of heartbreaking.
make you stronger.
It was kind of
It would be Keenan.
soul bending,
yeah.
because you just, like inside, you're
Oh,
just
yeah.
kind of like, I'm
If we
smiling,
were
and I'm
closer
really happy for the
that would
great
be
success.
under the Anthol
But
regimen,
living behind the image, the look, and the stilettos, and the hair, and the hairspray,
going
and
chud mode,
and
chud
trying to make
beast
it look
mode.
like an MTV video on live stages then
I see.
was even harder.
Yeah.
And the acoustic guitar was so outman during that time.
One of these days,
It
though.
was like, nobody wants to hear that folky.
Or maybe
Yeah.
So I
at
was
Snot
really
World.
kind of encouraged, or kind of even in some ways allowed, to put anything acoustic on a lot of those songs, unless it was just like, just a little spice that you leave way up on the top, way over there in the upper register that you don't even hear. And so, so when I had the kind of fluke first #1 single, These Dreams, that I sang myself, I didn't have
You
a
have to take a
guitar
bow here.
in my hands to sing it with.
I see.
So I was like, what am I supposed to do with my
It
hands?
is weird when you're used to playing guitar on stage and suddenly you got to
I
stand
had no
there. You're
idea what to do. And so, like, I was trying to be like Joni Mitchell, you know, like she has the coolest expression, you know, when she was up and not playing guitar, you know. And as my mom came to one of our shows, she goes, so when you sang These Dreams, you look like you're doing the hula. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I should at least hold the guitar. So then I just learned it on the mandolin and done different ways of me being able to play it while I sing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the 80s was not a perfect fit.
Motherfucker.
But there were the songs, some of those great songs, like Alone.
Everybody hula in the pit.
Yeah.
But Alone sounds to me like it could have been one of those French cafe World War I in black and white, you know, kind of a crooner, like a woman singing about her soldier, you know, in the war.
Did you compromise may not be the right word, but let's just say it's a form of compromise. You're in this situation, but did you see it at the time as just survival? Was it like, look, this is kind of what we got to do to stay in the game?
Yeah. I think we felt like we have to wear these clothes and we need to make these videos and we have to take the suggestion of the record company and try out these songs. And we listened to stacks of demo songs by all these hit songwriters, and some were the ones that obviously were a great fit, but when we went into rehearsals and tried to learn all these songs, like song after song after song, it felt like we were giving up our territory as artists because it was someone else's style.
Yeah.
That they were like, what color do you want to paint this room? You know, the 30-second, like listening to demos is like the 30-second. Well, what character would you like me to become?
I see. Yeah.
And especially for Anne, singing the words, like, you know, when she started having this big reaction towards a lot of these songs feeling like a victim. Like, these are songs written like, why do you lie? You know, even What About Love has got a lot more of a punchy kind of, I'm angry at you thing.
Yeah.
But like, he left me, now what do I do? You know, the victim songs were just not her way of expressing rock music.
It hurts to hear you tell it. I don't know. I mean,
you know what
it's
I mean?
not my story, but it
she's
just
not
hurts.
a whiny singer, so she's just could
know,
not get behind the girly
yeah,
stuff.
because to the Gen X generation, you know, that grew up hearing those earlier songs, it was so. The empowering is a weird word because it's very coded in this world, but it was like, this is our music and this is who we are and this is what we do. And your sister has a very unique stage charisma, you know.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like almost like a darker Stevie Nicks or something. You know what I mean? Like
right.
more like.
She's quite the storyteller.
Yes, and you know.
She means it, and phoning it in is never what she's.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So suddenly you put a person who's used to singing their own
exactly
lyrics,
right.
songs they believe in, stories from their own life. You know, some of your biggest 1.0 hits are, you know, they're based on things that actually happened.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're in this weird spot where you're like, what happened to the band? What happened to the story?
Right.
I don't want to connect this. But you tell me if there's any connection, because much was made in this era about your sister's appearance. It was a huge talking point. I can't imagine it was very comfortable for her.
No, that was painful stuff, definitely. And in the ego, sort of cocaine ego-driven, image-driven 80s, it was way less mind expanded from where
I could imagine Heart being pretty big on cocaine.
The corporateness was kicking in all levels, on every level. And so they would put her stretched the frame in the video,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was really obvious. They were trying to make her look skinnier, and a lot of the live reviews of our live shows would really trash on Anne, you know, just trash talk about her weight. And so we just never even looked at reviews anymore. It was just really a rough time for her emotionally to just be this amazing singer. Like, I would go around and try to stick up for her and go, so is Aretha Franklin too fat? You know, it doesn't matter if it's Aretha Franklin, you know.
Well, now it seems even sillier because you
Yeah,
see
even
with
sillier.
body positivity movement, there's some of the biggest artists in the world are people have a little bit of size in them, and it doesn't diminish them in the eyes of the audience. In many ways, the audience says you're a real person who's not trying to be somebody you're not.
Like Adele, you know, when Adele first made a big splash, you know, she went and lost weight and looked great, but
Big splash.
people loved her for her talent. And it was a great lesson in the culture for that reason.
Sure.
When Adele made a huge hit out of
Classic
her
woman
talent,
dig.
because the sound of her voice was so relatable and so emotional and real, and so, you know.
But was there any
personality
connection
was
there
big,
between
like
this
Shamrock.
circumstance you found yourself in with having success but feeling somewhat disassociated with it, and her
Yes.
own issues? Was like, did that connect, or were they just ran on two separate tracks?
Well, there's where you have to learn your compartmentalizing skills, you know, in your life.
Yeah.
Because these things are running over, all this painful kind of is over here.
I see.
And then, but still, there's this compartment where it's really fun to be in a rock band and really fun to be on a big rock stage, but my feet hurt because I don't like wearing these shoes, you know. And then there's this other compartment where, you know, you've got your family.
So true
and you've
about the
got
feet
good
part.
shots because of all the success that all these
Yeah.
other compartments have provided you with. So it's, you know, I think it's just kind of dangerous to compartmentalize your life too much.
Yeah.
But it's also a skill that
Yeah.
it's a survival mechanism.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah. This is more of a personality, artistic question than a life question. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you know, you were in a marriage with somebody who's a very famous writer director. You met when he was doing Fast Times at Ridgemont High, somewhere around there. It's Cameron Crowe we're talking about.
Yep.
So it strikes me that you have these two very strong personalities in your life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that seems to come out.
Yeah,
you know.
well, I'm a collaborator. I love collaborating, you know. And with Anne, I love collaborating with Anne and our friend Sue from when I was 12. We met. Wrote a bunch of heart songs with me and Anne, Sue Ennis. And then with Cameron, you know, I'd been with guys in the band, which was really a bad idea. And so here was this really cool, kind of nerdy, smart writer type guy, you know, who had a real grasp of words and wrote for Rolling Stone magazine.
But
when
also
he
a
was
sense,
16.
but he has a great sense of
Intellectually.
cultural zeitgeist stuff, which is rare.
The cultural zeitgeist about music
But culture too.
and the whole culture.
Yeah.
And how the culture feels and
Yes.
how to feel.
That's a rare talent. You know.
That's a huge talent to see what the culture's feeling or about to feel.
Yeah.
And want to hear.
Yeah.
You know, what they hear, what they want to hear.
Yeah.
And so that's a rare gift.
Yeah.
Too. So I love collaborating with
Yeah.
really gifted, talented.
Because
people.
the obvious question, I think, is, you know, most people want to make things about themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But in your life, you haven't necessarily made it about you. You've been always worked in more like a collective frame.
That is true with me. But I like being a leader, and I like being decisive, like executive decisions to make. I do that. You know, I'm okay to jump at that, and just okay, everybody, shut up. Here's what it's gonna be. You know, because too many cooks in the kitchen, I can't do that either.
Real boss nigga.
So let's put
Nancy Wilson, Boss Nick.
on the 80s talk. So, like many in the Gen X generation, when you showed up on Alice in Chains' song "The Rooster," it was kind of a really interesting thing. Not only was it a beautiful song, and it's a classic, and it's such a beautiful song that Jerry wrote about his father's experiences. I love Jerry. I think Jerry's one of the great writers of all time.
My brother.
I'm always at the
Me too.
at the altar of Jerry. You know.
Me too. I am too.
I'm not one to hand out a lot of praise in that regard, but Jerry
He's a great writer.
That's unbelievable.
Great player.
Oh, please.
And singer. Yeah.
Yes. So, but the other, I think, and I'm sure it wasn't intentional, it was kind of like, for someone like me, it was kind of like, oh yeah, they're cool. It was like a moment to remember.
Right. Well, that's, in the 90s then. Now
it's 93, 94,
We've
right?
arrived at the 90s.
Yes,
now.
yes.
And thank God we're out of the 80s now. And that's what it felt like coming back to Seattle then.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And I got to meet you around at that time at some club.
Yeah.
We were upstairs, crammed into some smoky club. And I was like, hey, it's you. And you're like, hey, it's you. What?
I talked to you about the Heartless 7-inch, but that's what I
That's what it was. Oh, doing it again. That's what it was. I remember that really well.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I love his music. And
I wonder if
impressed with you.
if Billy cracked that.
We came home and guys like Jerry, we came back out of the LA 80s kind of back to Seattle to take a break.
Because if you did, I'd totally fucking respect him way more.
Just for fun, yeah.
No managers, no record companies, just go play and sing in clubs, whatever covers we wanted to do or whatever.
Because I always kind of got that feeling that even though he was kind of
when Andrew Woods died from
kind of a nerdy, ego-y, artistic
kind
of guy,
still my best friend.
He knows how to slay
And
puss.
still Pearl Jam's manager.
Still was
Especially
still,
back in the day.
I think he's still doing Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
He had that air about him
Said
of
you gotta come
a puss slayer.
and meet the community at this house where we're gonna have like a wake for Andrew Woods.
Oh, okay.
Bring the dogs. And so we loaded up the dogs, me and Cameron, and we went to, I think it was Andrew Woods' house in Seattle. Big, huge old
Yeah,
kind
he
of a
had,
band house. And
to compare it in a modern way, he had like the John Mayer thing.
All the dogs were running around and everybody was getting
Well, you grew up in that era, so I don't know. Or maybe you didn't know the Smashing Pumpkins or didn't care.
Lane and
Great people.
all those guys, the Screaming Trees guys.
Great.
Or maybe you thought they were gay.
Band, great guys. The whole scene really.
And of course,
came out of that.
you're not a woman, so
That was a big party.
Is it too obvious to say you were?
Your impression of Billy Corgan wouldn't be like
this
that.
is what I remember. Not
from being in.
No, but it's like this is the music I remember, like people together.
Are there bands
That's
that
what I'm saying.
That's
you
like-
listen to because this is a band from my state?
Well, I'm back where it feels like a music
Yes.
community.
Right off the top of my head, I
So
can't.
the unintended consequence, I think, of you guys
It was
being on
like-
the
Well,
it was
besides,
the perfect blessing.
the grunge
of
bands,
music first,
Soundgarden,
was
of
the
course.
blessing of coming together
There's so many.
at a wake
yeah.
for a really great local guy.
Let's look
And
that up,
I'd
actually.
seen Mother Love Bone at I think it was the off ramp or
Yeah,
something.
Oh, shit.
He would have probably
And
been
Andrew
a
Woods
fairly
was great.
very successful.
Yeah, and he chugged on a big pitcher of beer and spit it out in the crowd. And I spit beer all over me because I was up in the crowd. And I was like, yeah, I've been anointed, And then he died. And so we all met there. And Jerry was kind of the first sweet soul to kind of make me feel like, oh God, they don't hate us after the 80s, after the MTV.
No, you were
They don't
beloved
hate
by that
us.
generation. That's
Which we didn't understand that.
Yeah.
We just thought they think we're sellouts because of all of the, the.
Yeah, it's weird they
corporateness
don't think that.
that they were all.
that's what I mean about a
Pushing
reminder.
back
It was
and-
kind of like
Here's a community.
to hear your voices in that context, especially being in the generation, it was like
that was the moment where it kind of, we kind of melded into the 90s.
But I think it might sound trite to say, but it sort of reminded me that you were one of us, or we were one of you.
That's what it felt like, exactly.
Like you kind of come home back to the music.
Yeah, and real guitars and real drums and real garages that sound good.
But it's in the name. It's hard, right?
I know. Still, always trying to live up to the name.
Well, that's a tough.
It's hard to live up
that's
to
a tough
sometimes.
Leap. So.
Oh, it's almost over. Damn. A good fucking interview right here. Even though, it is Billy, he is kind of a... His style is kind of a double-edged sword, because he does keep it moving, but sometimes it, cuts off, a nice moment. If he could have just let something, extend for a little bit more, it would have been dope. But, no, not washing tins. Oh wait, I don't know if I can play this. Actually. Oops. Yeah. Just some local rappers. Oh, cool. When I was a teenager, they had a unique flavor and style. They were gang members, though. In a gang war. Damn. That'd be crazy if you could find some tapes of that. Or would you go see him live? But yeah. Washington Legends, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden. I love all of those bands. Even though Nirvana, they're the least. Pearl Jam, they're pretty low too, but Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, ooh-wee, they rule. Death Cab for Cutie, huh. My old bass player was real into them. They're like indie rock, right? Queensryche and Metal Church, huh. Kind of like proggy, power metal-y, 80s stuff. Yeah, the Melvins too, Temple of the Dog. All the stuff that led up to grunge, basically, too. Like they said, it was regional back in the day. Pre-internet. Indie pop. Riot Girl. That sounds gay. Heavy metal in the 80s. Classical, 1903. Gerald Schwartz. Milton Keynes. Violinist? Don't know any of those people. Jays. '40s stuff, huh? Kenny G. Kenny G is from your state. Though people like to shit on him. Maybe he was good. Maybe he's whack. Who knows? Garfield Jazz Ensemble. country, alt country. Alt country. Which basically means, like the Black Keys, right? Some shit like that. Yeah, don't care. Garage rock in the 50s, huh? The Frantics. No, the Sonics are from Tacoma? Record producer Jerry Dannon, responsible for bringing the Kingsmen out of Oregon. With Louie Louie. Nice. I would have thought Louie Louie was more of a East Coast song. Nevermore? Huh. So that means one of the Cannibal Corpse guys is from Washington. Big Business? Huh. Oh yeah, well. Yeah, they played with the Melvins, so that makes sense. Wolves in the Throne Room. These guys were big in the 2010s with the indie crowd. This was the metal that indie hipsters allowed themselves to listen to. And I think it's probably okay, but yeah, this was called like post black metal or something. Could be interesting, but I never took to it, really. Some punk. The Mentors, nice. Famously racist band. Wasn't the guy who supposedly, who was supposedly ordered to whack Cobain, and who he himself was later found dead. The farts. What? Grunge, of course. All those bands: Green River, Skin Yard, Screaming Trees, Soundgarden, Melvins. That's all that matters. Hip hop. Oh yeah. Sir Mix-a-Lot. Huh. Kid Sensation. Word Sayer. Source of Labor. Old Dominion. Blue Scholars. Dissatisfaction. Shabazz Palaces. Oh. I remember hearing that name in the 2010s. Needle Drop, Pitchfork Core. Macklemore. Oh, Thrift Shop. Oh, God. What a cringy song. Let's wrap up the Nancy Wilson interview here. And we'll keep on looking for some more, Keenan.
I think that's a nice bow on that story, right?
Hey, what's up, Chemo? How you doing, my brother? welcome.
Yeah.
Because we know after that it
Looking up
balances
Washington
itself out.
bands.
When Jerry Cantrell came up to me in the corner with a guitar and said
Read
at
my
Band's
snack.
house at a party and said,
Salted mozzarella with bread and butter and pickles with balsamic vinegar. I would eat it. Sounds tasty. My family doesn't rock with balsamic all that much, but I do enjoy the tangy taste every now and then on a salad.
There's that moment in mid-90s where you leave with your sister and say, look, I got it.
Post-nod metal, so true.
That's got to be a tough moment.
yeah, that was really a tough moment. She didn't understand why I wanted to step away and try to start my family. She didn't get it, and she never did. I don't think. She never got it.
What? If it's too personal, just you can skip past it. But what didn't she get? Like, which part of that didn't she get?
Well, I think like I'm a nurturing person just by nature, nurturing nature person. And she's she defines herself more by the actual job
I see.
and the work of it.
Yeah, that's how
and the
I am. So that makes sense to
presentation.
me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're
Well, I'm
Pisces, though.
I'm a weird.
But you're a weird Pisces.
I'm a weird Pisces. Yeah.
No, I get that, though.
Yeah. But I get the idea of being defined by your work.
Just defined by the work, but I think in Anne's case, just personally, she's really feels alone and lonely and not okay without it. So she's not okay without it. So she has to have the stage to be okay.
I see.
To get the love back from an audience is how she's gonna be okay. And I've done a lot of therapy over the last few years, and it's really helped me figure out stuff like that. But I think in Anne's case, she relies her own definition of who she is. She has to have an audience, and she has to be on a stage, and that's the only way she feels like she really gets love in her life. As much as I love her, and I always will, love to be on stages with her.
Some performers definitely have that right there.
Let me take a guess and see if this resonates with you.
That makes for a good
Again,
performance,
if it's
though.
too personal, you can skip past it. I think for people who are the best at what they do, I think it's very confusing for them when either through life or health limitations or circumstance, they don't have access to the thing that sort of, connects with the thing that they do.
Right.
On one hand, it's a gift because, like I said, your sister's the type of person, she just opens her mouth and it works.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I watched a bunch of old live clips of you, and there it is. I mean, it's not studio trickery. It's like,
No,
it is there.
it's just all
and
there.
you've heard it more than anybody else in the whole world.
True.
But there's that thing where I think for people who are extremely gifted, they don't totally understand the nature of the gift. And the closest thing they can get to understanding the nature of the gift is when it's an action.
Yeah.
Because when it's not an action, and again, I'm asking your opinion, I'm just giving mine.
Right.
When it's not an action, it's sort of confusing because that is the thing that defines everything. It's the Promethean fire. Without the Promethean
Billy
fire, it's kind
Corgan's
of
strange hand.
who am I?
You couldn't say it better than that. I mean, I couldn't say it better than that. You're exactly on the crux of it all with her need to be fulfilled in her life by doing the work.
Yes.
And when I needed to needed to step away from that, she took it as punishment or something, and never got
was
over
it
exactly.
jealousy or what's the punishment? Is it
I think, punishing her by not being there to
support?
continue to support, the beautiful habit we
I
have
see.
in heart that supports her well-being her sense of purpose
Yeah.
and being at all,
Yeah.
her life, her fulfillment. But I think punishment. I mean, I was just trying to just like, this is a sabbatical. I'll be right back. Nothing is changing. I'm just going over here.
Yeah.
There's a pause. Then we're back. And but sort of a jealousy too, because she doesn't has she didn't want to naturally do that for her own. She wasn't as interested in having kids as I was. She didn't have a husband either at the time. So I think she wanted to have everything I wanted, but not without losing the job at the same time, So just kind of an impossible scenario
Yeah.
for her to grasp.
Well,
or
only you sisters can be that real, so it's not like
balance
she's some
each
random
other over.
woman
But
in this other woman's
and
life.
We've sort of pushed through some really rough stuff and got back where the safety of the two of us, like regardless of, it's like being in the eye of a hurricane when we're together.
Why are her fingers so
there's
tiny, though?
the power trips that swirl
Is she tiny?
around. There's cows flying by, there's tractors, management, all that stuff that can go so wrong for so long, will and has been going wrong for a long time. And
Will
then we
Snod,
get up on the stage
Nancy
together,
Will
and there's this
Snod,
bubble, and there's
5'3".
this
Oh
safe
my
zone,
God.
and
She's
there's
tiny.
magic there.
No, not
And
that
it's
one.
just bigger than it's like the songs themselves are larger than life.
Oh, okay.
It's what the songs inform us all, like the songs we love, so your songs, that people hold in their souls, that help them through their lives. That it's
looks
the
like,
healing power of music.
And isn't that much taller either.
I'm preaching to the choir here, I know, but it's what good music can do.
Oh my God.
But what strikes
No
me
way
when
is
you
that-
talk is it's that you're
Oh, there's somebody else. Dean Goodman. Who's
Right,
Dean
it's
Goodman?
what-
at the end of the day, it's the bond.
It's
No
the
way,
bond of
that's
family.
Anne.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
No,
the
yeah.
beauty in
At the
that
end
story.
of the day, yeah.
Or
Hopefully
is
the
it?
day's
Damn.
not ending anytime soon.
I just want to say thank you for sharing all that. It's really beautiful.
Oh, no problem.
The one thing I want to say about this sort of the Promethean gift, it's more an oft-told story when somebody.
You would have
has
think,
the
throughout the
Promethean
years,
gift in
she would have
control.
tried some kind of.
The other side of that story is
Something
the
that
person
worked.
who wants to continue to use that Promethean gift. Their life is defined by the use of that gift. And
Maybe
again,
too much
circumstance,
stress
health,
in her life as well.
Just whatever life happens, they're not able to apply it in the same way. That's a less told story. But in many ways,
Yeah.
there is an honorable aspect to it because it's like, I've been given something and I want to use it.
My cock
That's
would look
right.
huge in her granny hands.
And
Oh my
being
God.
kept from using it, can be just
Oh my Lord.
like being wounded.
That's kind of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But we were saying that earlier, though, that
play with
yeah, she may be old, but
incredibly
definitely
people
would.
that are talented in a way that I find sort of shocking. And that's why I even use the word with your sister. There's
Yeah.
a shocking
Kino.
talent
It's
there. It's like,
true.
how does that work?
Very well said.
Because it's more than just winning a genetic lottery.
Yeah.
You got the right set of pipes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all there. Like whatever, if you want to make a star in a test tube, then there it is. It's like beauty, charisma,
Yeah.
sass, fire,
Yeah.
a voice, and not just a voice,
Yeah.
a voice that means something to people. And you were part of that beautiful organization of that.
No, I know. I get to accompany that fire. I'm part of the fire.
Absolutely. Well, I think
I fuel the fire.
this is a bit therapy, but I mean, I
get
think what she was
fuel the
saying,
fire.
what she was saying in her own, now we're talking Pisces talk. I
Yeah.
think what she was saying to you in her moment was, I need you,
Right.
which is really, if you think about it, it's ultimately an endorsement.
Well, it was an endorsement, but it's like, don't leave me.
Sure.
Like she felt abandoned
Yeah.
because I needed to do something with my life that wasn't the two of us doing it together.
Yeah.
And I get that. I completely.
You must be a really good supporter because she probably didn't know how much she needed you until she was going to lose you.
Well, I never wanted to make her feel left.
Yeah.
either.
Well, you
But she
you
did.
proved that over time.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
And and we've still got probably a victory lap to do, or two,
I hope
or
so.
maybe
Yeah.
more than that. But
GLC mommy.
as long as we both can do this together, it's like I said, it's just this. it's this
Imagine
space
having all that hard money.
It's the family place.
She gives you all her estates in her will and shit.
Because like
I would
your
do it.
own DNA is also their DNA.
Yeah.
So it's a cellular
But that's
level.
why I brought up
Yeah.
Everly's and Bee Gees. There's
Yes.
something there, Kinks.
Yeah.
There's something there that's so deep that
Right.
I think the public doesn't understand how intense it must be.
It's kind of intense.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's a level of intensity that I don't feel I understand, but I've talked to enough of the people or the families along the way, mostly privately, to get a
Yeah.
sense of what did that really feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Everly Brothers, probably the greatest harmony singers ever, who the
Yeah.
Beatles idolized.
Totally.
The ability for them to harmonize Phil and Don.
Yeah.
And there was such an intense attraction and repulsion between the two guys over 50-something years.
Yeah.
And I saw them play once.
Oh,
And of
wow.
course, you hear the legend of the stories. And I was watching them, and they were so good.
Yeah.
At one point, because you'll appreciate this because you sing harmony, they were so good, I thought, I'm just going to, every time they hit a bum note, I'm just going to make a note of it because they're not hitting any bum notes. And over a 90-minute show, they hit 4 bum notes in
like
all those harmonies.
A tiny bit sharp, tiny bit flat over here.
4 out of 90 minutes. And this is when they're like in their 50s, you know what I mean?
And no pre-record.
No, this is just two guys. At one point, they did a thing. We would like to sing it. We grew up with their parents singing on radio shows. We'd like to sing some songs about old Kentucky and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they did a little portion of the show where they did like 10 minutes, and they had that weird
That's
mic where they
cool.
would, it was like a mic with a U, so they were both could look at each other when
Yeah.
they sang. So they did about 7 or 8 minutes of just acoustic, just the two of them. I mean,
Yeah.
it was insane.
Oh.
But when you
I
think
wish I
of
could've
the
seen that.
alchemical dynamic of being from the same
Yeah.
parent, from the same genetic,
Yeah.
helix.
Billy just doesn't let her
Singing-
talk,
Singing harmony with your sister.
Well, he doesn't let anybody
and,
talk,
and
but
to choose
just
a
to.
life together.
Yeah. And when you know someone that well from on a DNA level like
Yeah.
that, and you sing harmony together, and I'm singing, for instance, on a song like Dog and Butterfly, I could just watch her sing it and know what to do, what not to do, and exactly on the spot do it the same.
Dropping doinks in
Just
her
on the
bed.
spot.
And all
Because
this.
of the way they're breathing, just, how they're singing that
Yes.
particular time. And it's a pretty cool thing that I feel lucky. Another thing I'm super grateful to have in my life is, that blood harmony.
Yes.
And having seen the Beatles on Ed Sullivan Show, like every other rock person ever did, and just follow that course all the way through, and have that same course that I'm on today from when I was 9. That's
Yeah.
like insane. Like that doesn't. Nobody knows where they're going at the beginning of their life like that. I feel like way too lucky. Like my parents should have been divorced. We should have been poor. I should have never picked up a guitar.
You don't want the
I
trauma.
should have had all the pain.
You don't want the trauma.
I
Trust me.
had plenty of trauma, believe me.
Well, you don't want that trauma. Maybe that's.
But
better.
that particular other
Yes.
trauma I never was forced to have, or I was lucky enough to not have.
Thank you so much. Lovely talking to you.
You too.
Well, Billy needs to learn to gauge which guest is the kind that likes to take some time with their answers, and which ones don't want to talk. Because the Robbie Krieger one, it kind of seems like he's kind of reluctant to talk, or a shy person or whatever. And Billy's style works pretty well right there. just because it's kind of hard to crack Robbie, the guitarist from the Doors. Yeah, I guess there's only so much to go over. There's even Billy, who likes to try new stuff, was mostly rehashing Door stuff. But yeah, two different interviewees where the Billy Corgan style works differently. But yeah, Nancy Wilson. I will soon goon to her. Nancy will goon. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we were live for an hour and 22 before the internet went out. Thank you for joining us once again. Pokemon. I wanna be the very best, Bernstein. I've been seeing some clips of mostly James on Instagram, because the voice actor's very keck. Some of the lines they give him too. I don't know if it's good enough to just straight up sit through all of Pokemon, but it is nice to put an episode on every now and then, just as background. And it's cool going back, especially to like the first two seasons, and seeing which ones I missed out on. Sapphire and Ruby time, which was a pretty keynote time. This was an era I grew up playing. When I first got when I got my first own handheld, an SP. So yeah, I got a Sapphire, and I think the first one I ever tried was Torchic. I think I tried them all eventually, but yeah, Torchic first. And then I was big on Mudkip. I even have a Mudkip plush somewhere in storage. One day I'll pull them out along with my Pikachu. It's that one Pikachu where you press the paw and the cheeks light up, battery powered. It's that chonky Pikachu style. Yeah, one day I'll bust those out. Yeah, good. I like seeing all these legacy mainstream anime going high availability, for free on YouTube live with ads, of course, and also on like shit like Samsung TV. Like, I think Pokemon even has its own channel on those sets of channels. Yeah, Lord knows nobody's watching TV, so best put yourself in the path of streaming or the internet. In this case, just general internet browsing. To be on YouTube is pretty smart. Yeah, have a higher chance of watching some Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon or whatever, like when I see it pop up here, than in any other instance. I just like Like I've noticed, as a lifelong fan of animation and cartoons, really. Oh, I would call them cartoons. Like I just like looking at them. It's the colors, the sound designs, even if the stories aren't all that good, or indeed it might be straight up bad. It just it's neat to look at. Yeah. It's the art, the colors, the motion, the music, and with the production such as Pokemon, especially in those early episodes, the way everything is set up with the musical cues and the sound effects, the voice acting, it is kind of compositional, like musical, because they did have the money to make it like that. I wanna be the bear best. No one ever was. To catch them is my real test. Spray them into my cars. Oh shit. Mommy's dead. No. Interjecting too much, way too much. When someone wants to get it out, he wants to control the flow, get other questions. Yeah. Maybe he feels he wants to get the most out of his hour that he paid for. The old Mudkip memes. Oh yeah. I heard you like Mudkips. Well, he got me. I wonder if it has a meme page. I heard you like Mudkips is a catchphrase that became popular through its usage on 4chan in the mid-2000s. Variations on the spelling and addition of "so" to the beginning of the phrase can also be found. Although its meanings are obscure, the phrase is commonly used as an identifier amongst the 4chan users outside of image board community. Similar to the usage of the narwhal bacons at night on Reddit. What? To identify themselves in public. No way. Is this real? In 09. Even in 09, a Redditor was a fucking faggoty Redditor. Narwhal bacon at midnight. Just saying that anywhere else. Yeah, and at least with Mudkips, it's like, reference to Pokemon. Not just some retard shit. Yeah, the OG Pokemon, the one with the red. Did they ever animate that one, or is it just manga? Mudkips rule. Originated in an early '05 DeviantArt group, Mudkip Club. Mm. Oh, okay, I thought I noticed the green tinge here. Copy pasta. Throughout '05, '06, a copy pasta story about a boy dressed as Ash Ketchum humping a plush Mudkip toy began circulating 4chan. Oh boy. I don't know if I've read this. And I guess I'm gonna have to read it now. Soon to be a Xenon motion picture. Today being Halloween, I decided to fuck with the major retard at school when I came out of science for a break. Hold on. It's because the music going. It's about to get raunchy and degenerate. He was dressed as Ash. Knowing this was gonna happen, I brought a Mudkip doll. Thus I started the conversation, making sure no one saw me. So I heard you like Mudkips. Mudkips? I love Mudkips. Oh really? So, would you ever fuck a Mudkip? That is, kiss me out before I could say, if you were a Mudkip. Of course. He said. Well, I just happened to have a Mudkip here, and before I finished the sentence, which would have resulted in me hitting him across the face with the doll, he grabbed it. In one swift motion, his pants were down, and he was violently hopping it. Not to go between a man and his Mudkips, I started to walk away, because there's no way I'd be caught wrestling a half-naked crazy guy humping a Mudkips. Needless to say, within 4 or 5 seconds, some girl saw him and started screaming. I coolly walked into a restroom, pretending nothing had ever happened. Not that I intended that outcome, but now that I was in play, I didn't want to be involved. I came back, and 2 minutes later, like any wanton act, on school grounds, there was now a huge crowd around him. He was still fucking it, and began and baying this real fucked up sound. Suddenly a scuffle broke out in the middle, meaning he probably did something stupid. I asked somebody what happened. A girlfriend of one of the football players tried to get him to stop, but he bit her for trying to take it away. Someone called in a few football players, who proceeded to pummel the shit out of this guy. Meanwhile, the police were freaking out and having trouble getting in the situation. I don't think I've ever read this. Or maybe it's like buried deep in my memory. I think I do remember I love Mudkips, but you know, after a while a copy pasta is posted so much that you're like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna read that. A few minutes later, the intruder alarm went off, and we were all shuffled into class. Over the intercom, the principal announced that someone had thrown a flaming plush toy into the library. Oh. So we were kept there, and about 30 minutes later, the principal came on and said, this time he was saying that whoever was behind the beating should turn themselves in. All of a sudden, this woman began yelling, I will sue you for damages, you low punks. I'm gonna sue. And it was cut off. I asked an office lady later what happened. Apparently his mother had come to pick him up and threatened to sue for the beating. Whatever else happened. The school threatened to countersue because of lewd conduct, acting, inciting a riot, and starting a fight. So I ask you, do you like Mudkips? I would say yes, but not like that. Jesus. So true, Lugia 41. I love Mudkips. Jeffrey Epstein wrote that post. Quite possibly. Like Jeffrey Epstein was the kid humping the Mudkip. Nah. Or maybe he was. He was a grown man pretending to be a little boy. Somebody look up Mudkips in the Epstein logs. Oh, Gary and Mike. When we were striked by YouTube the second time. That was a 2-week ban. We were somebody had a nightmare. What is it, Coaster? Are you scared? Are you scared, Coaster? Don't be scared, Coaster. I'm right here. That happened once before. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, when I turned to look at him, like, he was still kind of like, "Urgh," but his eyes were open, so he's like, he'd already woken up. Coaster boys, it wasn't real. Nah. We are indeed safe. It's okay, he's in hell now, having fun with his friends. So true. Is burning and melting, being stretched in more ways than one. I guess let's go through the playlists. Oh yeah, I was talking about the stuff we were playing on Kick. We were going through Glenn Martin again. Just going through the various Snod Kino that we can't play here anymore. What's up, around? We got Discworld. Yeah, I think it could be a little bit longer until we rewatch this. But this was really good. Terry Pratchett. Weird Sisters. Topobo is a 3D constructive assembly system with kinetic memory, the ability to record and play back physical motion. Unique among modeling systems is Topobo's coincident physical input and output behaviors. By snapping together a combination of passive and active components, people can quickly assemble dynamic biomorphic forms like animals and skeletons. Yeah, I used some of this footage for, I think it was a Perfect Pearl. Oh no, it's Perfect Torture. What's the name of the track? All I keep thinking is Big Doinks in Amish. I'm gonna use Topobob to smoke various doinks at once. It's kind of fucked up. We were not meant to create life. State automations. Okay. Fire. The Quay brothers. I don't think I have. I'll get that link. The Quay brothers. The Quay brothers. The highly influential animators, Quay brothers. Films. Play this stop motion, I'm guessing. I'll play right now, but let's see if I know him from any movies. Cause I do like me a good stop motion movie. Show a wide range of esoteric influences, including Polish animator. Hey, this is the guy who I took from earlier. Made the concentration camp film. Yeah, where are these guys from? Pennsylvania. Oh shit. So these motherfuckers know their shit. They will work with Stockhausen. Nice. Mistakenly believe the Quay brothers were responsible for Tool. Well, they had stop motion in like Stinkfist, right? But they were influenced. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of film pilled, writer pilled names. I'm not this cultured, or not cultured in this sort of way. I guess I do know Stravinsky and such. But yeah, damn. Gotta get on my shit. The Quay brothers. The brothers Quay. Oh, they did Sledgehammer, Peter Gabriel. Damn, that's an amazing video. Oh, they did some projected video for Pirubu. Nice. Commercials. Damn. MTV Idents. Yeah, I could see them doing a lot of that stuff. Wait, let me play this here. Seems right up my alley. Ooh, liver. Pure Kino. On Blu-ray now. Now that Blu-ray's not supported,
Stop motion is the art of bringing in
or isn't going to be in future
Nowhere is this perhaps more
players.
than in the short films of the brothers Quay. Stephen and Timothy Quay are twin brothers from Pennsylvania who have resided in the
They
UK
did
for
this.
most of their
They
career.
did this to me at
In their
work,
films, they craft
and it
uncanny
solved my
bodies
Norwood.
formed by objects living within their own.
Now I have a full head of hair.
And what kind of world can a screw be? Animation scholar Suzanne.
Thank
Buchan
you,
has
weird
researched
stop-motion mannequins, for bringing back my luscious locks.
Stop-motion animators. The brothers Quay do not just animate puppets and objects on screen, they also animate our perspective. The camera glides back and forth, up and down, like a dancing body. Focus shifts, revealing new aspects to these mysterious worlds. For logistical reasons, stop-motion animators rarely move the camera.
Oh, this is about the animation.
Quays do in a film like Rehearsals for Extinct Anatomies. In a documentary directed by... Stop motion is the art of bringing inanimate objects to life. Nowhere is this perhaps more true than in the short films of the brothers Quay. Stephen and
Beautiful.
Timothy Quay are twin brothers from Pennsylvania who have resided in the UK for most of their career. In their films, they craft uncanny ballets, performed by objects living within their own hidden worlds. And what kind of world can a screw be? Animation scholar Suzanne Buchan once posed of Street of Crocodiles. However, unlike most stop-motion animators, the brothers Quay do not just animate puppets and objects on screen, they also animate our perspective. The camera glides back and forth, up and down, like a dancing body. Focus shifts, revealing new aspects to these mysterious worlds. For logistical reasons, stop-motion animators
I guess that does
rarely
make
move
sense
the
that
camera,
with film that
and
would be
almost
a
never to the extent that the
a
Quays do in
revolutionary
a film
thing,
like Rehearsals for
changing
Extinct
perspective.
Anatomies. In a documentary directed
From
by
a
Christopher Nolan,
first-person
the Coen brothers talk
perspective,
about moving
of
the camera
course.
2 millimeters at a time on a track, expressing how hard shooting is on their backs. In Street of Crocodiles or Rehearsals for Extinct Anatomies, the camera is a tool linking our eyes to the physicality of space. Our emotions undulate with the tension of the ever-shifting perspective. Performance theorist Rudolf Laban would call this movement thinking, which consists of experiences articulated through the body rather than with words. The Quays also make use of rack focus during animated sequences. Suzanne Buchan writes, "The conscious eschewal of continuous space and a shifting of focus is further complicated by the Quays' use of macro lenses, which provide virtually no depth of field. In the moments when the camera shifts focus, blurred lines transform into crisp ones, and then recede back into the haze, causing the lines to flow out of one another like water. Textures are revealed and erased, creating a feeling of impermanence, the grief of a world unscrewing itself because of the death of an object." I'm Laura Ivins. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for your video essay. Let's see if we could get an actual like film by these guys. Tool, Sober. Yeah, this is the one that gets mistaken for Quay because of the stop motion, like deteriorated rotting kind of motif. Oh shit. There's an interview with them, and they're still alive. Dang. Probably a lot to learn from these guys. Gonna be watching these later. And I'm gonna try this hack that I learned in Egg Chat for possibly evading a certain thing. Test it out.
I do not come with a tongue, but with works of music.
The music is cool. La 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 la.
I feel as though I am living in a fairy tale. Me, an ordinary man, born in a room with two windows, one looking onto the church, the other onto the brewery. A quiet people, beautiful countryside, a castle on the hill, the village below, the mountains staring in surprise. I don't praise Hukvaldi because it's my birthplace, but because it's here that I found peace. Moravia alone is enough to give me all necessary inspiration, so rich are its sources. I lived among the folk songs and dances from childhood. The fact that there are over 3,000 in Moravia fills me with pleasure. I am not so concerned with their value as collection pieces, but they are means of understanding life. A song cut off from the life of the people is a puzzle. But I am a Czech composer, not just a Moravian one as they pretend in Prague. For we are the heart of Europe, and one must be aware of one's heart.
Check your goth Jeff Batty. Where is she? I need her in my life. Actually, no. Or the check are pre-mentally ill.
Dobrý večer. Dobrý večer. Dobrý večer.
No one can compose dramatic music who has not studied living speech. I wish this could be understood once and for all. You see, when someone speaks to me, I listen to the tonal modulation of their voice more than to what they are actually saying. From this, I can tell what they are like, what they feel, whether they are lying, agitated, or merely making conversation. I can feel, or rather hear my hidden sorrow.
Na koho čekáš?
Snort.
I have a vast collection of notebooks of these speech melodies. They are my window through which I look into the soul. You know, there are as many Mr. Brocheks among the Czechs as there are Oblomov.
I've been making regular practice of draining my lymph nodes.
Such people. We must not let them spoil things for us.
Just starting behind the ears, down the jaw. Wash down the sides of the neck with the entire hand. Simulate the chest points lightly, because apparently too deep of a massage kind of increases blocking. Just kind of like superficial rubbing on the skin. Stimulate the arms from the boob or the moob to the groin, and then from the back of the knee to the foot. Three days doing that now, and feel pretty good. The lymphatic system is important and often forgotten. And I especially gotta be careful because of that time my fucking lymph node exploded, like got swole for like 4 days. I think that happened twice last year. Yeah, good to have those, because it like helps purify toxins and such. It helps remove plaque from your arteries.
The shrieks of the animals of prey, the dreamy silence of
Lower inflammation.
the humming tremolo of 1,000 insects.
Language is only noise symbology, focusing on the tone more than the content is pretty smart. So true.
And the sorrow of my old.
You can never be quite sure about somebody's intellectual choices of language, but you know, somebody's tone will always give them away. Because like the man said, you know, you can see how a person is right away. drain my doinkinage. Kino. I love the shot here. I love the rustic, kind of dark room. I'm always a big fan of a creepy, enigmatic room with strange things happening in it. Excited, intimate lymph nodes. Yeah, I've done blood work in Mexico various times, and everything comes back healthy. Maybe stuff showing possible diabetes. You know, if one doesn't take care of themselves, it could develop into diabetes. And we do have family members who have it, so it could be genetic as well. Well, nothing crazy, thank God, but when your body is telling you, take care of me, it's best to listen. But that's one of those signs, you know, when you have swelling like that, and some people have chronic swelling where it's looks more like it's part of their appearance. You know, you have various parts of the body, you know. That's where the gynecomastia comes from, I think, because you have some in this area. So those could get like swollen too, make you have moobs. You kind of drain them downwards like this. Not super rough, of course, because blocking. Just kind of like stimulating to the groin area, where apparently you have some. There's lymph nodes all over the body, but this is the one on Google that seemed most interesting to me and cohesive, because it's just like start from the top, go down, and yeah.
137 years old, but still young and beautiful. People took her for a liar.
It seems like a lot, but I think it's starting to become habit. Like I was doing it while watching Eggy, and I did it like a few times too throughout the day, just like watching a YouTube video or something.
People to like her. Camila, you are for me Elena Macropoulos. Come and see the cold one. You will see your own photograph.
Apparently, some masseuses offer a lymph node massage for that very reason, because it is like an entire body thing. You do gotta focus on an area for maybe like 3 minutes. It can get kind of annoying, so I can see where having somebody else do it would be pretty dope. Especially a little Asian lady. With that happy ending, you know it. No. I've never even been to a masseuse, let alone had a happy ending. I'm not Sam Hyde build like that. Acupuncture, yeah. I would try that out too. It's kind of like a similar idea of, you know, the stimulation of certain points in the body where it is beneficial, releasing stress or toxins. And the Chinese have an amazing system for that. So yeah, that would be pretty dope, acupuncture. You would exit that session like Super Saiyan mode. Oof. Does sound good about now. Good old massage. Best I have is my hand. Zzz. The only happy ending I'm getting is in the mirror. But yeah, this is Kino Fishman. Thank you for introducing me to these guys. Yeah, I'd never heard the name, to be honest. But I'm not as film pilled as I should be. But I'm getting there. Grok make me a video of an Asian lady massaging my lymph nodes with their sideways genitalia. You got it, sport. It seems almost like Japanese. I wonder if Japanese people were heavily inspired by the Kwai. I didn't realize Scrooge sent me a picture of his snack. Mozzarella pickle, balsamic vinegar. Damn. But it looks even crazier than it sounds. So, I don't know. I wonder if that was good. You there, Scrooge?
I pile note upon note, and this Tower of Babylon grows. When it collapses, I will be buried.
Sniffing all the cocaine and snot gun. Sorry, just catching up on the messages here. Cream. This monkey ass motherfucker.
This house of the dead has haunted me.
He loved it. 7.5 and 7.6. Wow.
So I am descending
Maybe I'm sleeping on an awesome flavor profile.
Wretched of all people. It's a difficult path.
Holocaust.
I'm finishing one
Scary.
work after another as if I were soon to settle my account with life. The rain pours and pours. One looks out of the window at the mountains. The clouds are rolling. Darkness thickens. You peer into it and light the flickering bulb in the ceiling. It is getting dark. The sun at the crossroads. I want only to feel the wings of the music, of the spheres waving.
The bases. It has Japanese subtitles? Alright. I'm fucking retarded. Whoa. So yeah. I'm guessing that them old jamps lived themselves a bit of Quail Brothers. Watching how different old people approach death is really important, so true. In my family, we've always had a pretty, aware nature of death, that if our time comes, it comes, what's there to fear or to cry about? If it happens, it happens, Of course, it's a tragedy if it's too early, but, if God, favors you, die of old age, that'd be...
Say I have achieved something.
You'll welcome that,
Maybe there is something in it.
or be at peace with it,
By
at the very
breaking
least.
string that resounds and binds us together, makes us strong and defiant and proof against everything in the world.
That was awesome. Diary of One Who Vanished. Cunning Little Vixen. Homage to Adolf Hitler. Oh, Rudolf Freund. Oh. I just saw Dolph and I thought, the Dolph? So we all know. Absolute cinema. Indeed, thank you. Alright, bros. I think that's a fine place to end it. Cozy 2.5 hours. 4 hours total, about ish. Because it is getting kind of late here. I'm glad that I have my account back for now. You know, hopefully nothing too crazy is played on my stream in these coming days, because that would be a third strike, and there goes another PoMod account. I mean, I'm not opposed to uploading all my shit again, but that would just be annoying. Oh yeah, my lists. Oh wait, no, my lists are in the Snot account. Okay, so they're safe for right now. But yeah, if that happens, I will create another YouTube, even though I would be doing some kick time. Because kick is fun, you know, we could play with literally whatever. It's almost D-Live levels, except for some of the censoring. And even that, it's kind of... You can still see what's being censored, especially on the screen. They hate us cause they ain't us, so true. They are indeed anus. Have a good sleep, bros, and may you excite a sexy woman. A woman's lymph nodes in her morn. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, Fishman, Anthol, Scrote, Chemo. No, but and anybody else who's out there chilling. Sideways genitalia. Sorry, I was reading the comments and that one kind of just jumped out at me. The sideways genitalia jumped out at me. Knee deep in her morning. She'll be mourning her morning, that's for sure. She's gonna find me in her fucking pussy. On a trail, on a hike, deep in her minge. I don't know. Anyways, YouTube, thank you again. Peace. And we'll do some more YouTubing, but also some jumping back and forth to do some Kino kick content. We were watching Glenn Martin. I do feel like we need to finish that run. So yeah, I'll see you then. Peace.